In the heart of a dense green jungle, where the sun barely filtered through the thick canopy of trees, there lived a mighty lion named Leo. Leo was known far and wide as the king of the jungle. His powerful roar could be heard echoing through the forest, sending a shiver down the spine of every animal. With his majestic mane and fierce eyes, Leo commanded respect from all the creatures of the jungle. He was strong, courageous, and proud, and no one dared to challenge his authority. One hot afternoon, after a successful hunt, Leo decided to take a nap under the shade of a large tree. The air was warm, and the sound of the leaves rustling in the breeze was soothing. As Leo lay down and closed his eyes, he quickly drifted off into a deep sleep, his heavy breathing blending with the natural sounds of the jungle. As Leo slept, a tiny mouse named Minnie was scurrying through the underbrush nearby. Minnie was a small, timid creature with soft brown fur and bright, curious eyes. She lived with her family in a cozy burrow not far from where Leo had decided to rest. Minnie was always cautious, for she knew the dangers that lurked in the jungle, but today, she was in a particularly playful mood. As Minnie darted through the leaves, she suddenly found herself near the sleeping lion. She froze in her tracks, her tiny heart pounding in her chest. Minnie knew she was in the presence of the king of the jungle, and she should have been terrified. But as she watched Leo sleep, she noticed how peaceful and harmless he looked. Emboldened by the lion's stillness, Minnie decided to do something daring. With a burst of courage, Minnie tiptoed closer to Leo. She carefully climbed onto his enormous paw, her tiny feet barely making a dent in his fur. Giggling to herself, Minnie began to play, running up and down Leo's leg. But as Minnie frolicked on Leo's paw, she accidentally tickled him. Leo's whiskers twitched, and with a sudden movement, he stirred from his sleep. Before Minnie could react, Leo's massive paw came down on her, trapping her beneath its weight. Leo opened his eyes and looked down to see the tiny mouse trembling beneath his paw. He bared his sharp teeth and his voice rumbled like thunder as he spoke. "How dare you disturb my sleep, little one? Do you not know who I am? I am Leo, the king of the jungle. I could crush you in an instant." Minnie's heart raced with fear. She knew she was no match for the powerful lion, and that her life could end at any moment. But despite her fear, she summoned all her courage and spoke in a small, trembling voice. "Please, mighty Leo, have mercy on me. I meant no harm. I was only playing and did not realize I would disturb you. If you let me go, I promise to repay your kindness someday." At first, Leo couldn't help but laugh. The idea that such a small, insignificant creature could ever repay him was ridiculous. "Repay me? How could a tiny mouse like you ever do anything for a lion like me?" he scoffed. But as Leo looked into Minnie's pleading eyes, something softened in his heart. He realized that the mouse was no threat to him, and perhaps there was no need to punish her for such a harmless act. With a sigh, Leo lifted his paw, freeing Minnie. "Very well," Leo said, his voice gentler now. "I will let you go, but remember your promise." Minnie, overjoyed and relieved, quickly scampered away. She paused at a safe distance, turned back to Leo and said, "Thank you, noble Leo. I will never forget your kindness. I promise I will repay you if I ever get the chance." With that, Minnie disappeared into the underbrush, her tiny feet carrying her back to the safety of her burrow. Leo watched her go, shaking his head with a smile. A mouse repaying a lion, he thought to himself. What a funny notion. He soon forgot about the encounter and went about his life, ruling the jungle as he always had. Days turned into weeks, and one day, while Leo was out patrolling his territory, he wandered into a part of the jungle he rarely visited. Unbeknownst to him, a group of hunters had recently set up traps in that area, hoping to capture the king of the jungle. As Leo walked through the undergrowth, his powerful body moving with grace and confidence, he suddenly felt the ground give way beneath him. In an instant, he was ensnared in a thick, heavy net that had been cleverly hidden among the leaves. The hunters had set the perfect trap, and now Leo was caught. Leo roared in anger and frustration, thrashing and pulling at the net with all his might. But the more he struggled, the tighter the net became, entangling him further. For the first time in his life, Leo felt truly helpless. The great king of the jungle was trapped, and there was no one around to help him. As Leo lay exhausted in the net, panting heavily, he began to fear the worst. He knew that if the hunters found him, they would capture or even kill him. His mighty roar, once a symbol of his strength and power, now seemed to mock him. In his moment of weakness, but just as Leo was beginning to lose hope, he heard a faint rustling in the bushes. He turned his head and saw a small figure emerging from the underbrush. It was Minnie, the little mouse he had spared weeks ago. Minnie had heard Leo's roars echoing through the jungle and had rushed to see what was happening. When she saw the mighty lion trapped in the hunter's net, her heart ached with sympathy. Despite her small size, Minnie knew she had to help. "Don't worry, Leo," Minnie squeaked, her voice filled with determination. "I promised I would repay your kindness. And now it's my turn to help you." With that, Minnie quickly set to work. She scampered up the net and began to gnaw at the thick ropes with her sharp little teeth. It was hard work, and the ropes were tough, but Minnie was relentless. She bit and chewed with all her might, determined to free the lion who had shown her mercy. Leo watched in amazement as the tiny mouse worked tirelessly to save him. He had never imagined that such a small creature could make such a big difference. Slowly but surely, the ropes began to fray and weaken under Minnie's persistent efforts. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Minnie's hard work paid off. The ropes snapped and the net fell away, freeing Leo from his trap. The great lion stood up, shaking off the remnants of the net, and looked down at Minnie with gratitude and admiration. "You did it, Minnie," Leo said, his voice filled with genuine respect. "You saved my life. I never would have believed that someone as small as you could help someone as powerful as me, but you've proven that even the smallest among us can make a big difference." Minnie blushed with pride. "It was the least I could do, Leo. You showed me kindness when you didn't have to, and I'm glad I could repay you." From that day on, Leo and Minnie became the best of friends. Leo, the mighty king of the jungle, and Minnie, the tiny but brave mouse, were an unlikely pair, but their bond was strong. They taught the other animals of the jungle an important lesson. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted, and even the smallest creatures can have the biggest hearts. The story of Leo and Minnie spread throughout the jungle, becoming a cherished tale that was told to young and old alike. It reminded everyone that true strength doesn't always come from size or power, but from the kindness we show to others, and that sometimes, the most unlikely of friends can make the greatest difference. And so Leo continued to rule the jungle, but now with a newfound wisdom and humility. He knew that he wasn't just the king of the jungle because of his strength, but also because of the kindness and respect he showed to all creatures, big and small. And Minnie, though small in size, was recognized as a hero, proving that courage and compassion could conquer even the greatest challenges.